In this video, you'll learn about the third secret, which I believe is critical to avoiding a relapse. You'll discover that developing a positive support network is imperative, along with why it is so important if you want to avoid a slip. I will share my experience with developing a positive support network, and based upon that information, you'll be able to figure out how it works for you. So lean in and listen carefully, because this episode could have a significant impact on how you can make it to a year and much closer to living a kick-ass sober life. And this YouTube video is like an AA meeting in that most people are sober, thinking about getting sober, should be sober, or they should be sober. And so if you hear something that resonates with you, please share in the comment section. What you share might resonate with someone else and possibly save them from a relapse or even save their life. Every comment counts. So don't be shy, please share. You must have a positive support network if you want a chance of getting this thing and staying clean and sober long term. So surround yourself with people that have what you want. Enlist your supports. Tell people what you are doing with your life. The way that I did it was I started with getting a sponsor that had what I wanted, and I followed his suggestions. I hung out with him before the meeting, after the meeting. We did step work. I did service work based upon his recommendation. There was a guy named Kyle who had a major car accident. He couldn't leave his house. And so that was kind of my service work, was bringing a meeting to Kyle. Mind you, I was new in the program. I didn't know anybody in the 12-step community at that time when this happened. And so I made announcements at meetings, and I got people rallied up to be of service with me. And we brought Kyle a meeting. Every single week I did that. And what it did was, when I was making announcements, first off, one of the things I learned, my experience, I go to meetings to see and be seen. And so by making announcements at meetings, I'm just making myself, like, people know who I am. People know who I am. And so it's not only do they know who I am in the rooms, they also know who I am outside of the rooms, so me developing my network inside of the rooms also carried outside of the room. So it was really, really good. I had a therapist, I had a home group, service commitment. So those are all the things I did. What did I not do? I didn't date for a year. I learned how to build relationships. I learned intimacy, and I received a good definition of intimacy from Joe Polish, who's the founder of Genius Recovery. Intimacy is a mutual exploration of a shared safe place. Abuse is anything that takes away the safe place, and addictions are what we do to make ourselves feel good when we don't have a safe place. The addiction, the drink, the drug, the sex, the gambling, those are all the solution. And so it's important to have a positive support network, which includes people that you have a shared safe place with. You're putting yourself at risk if you're spending time with anybody that you don't have a shared safe place with. And so I have a friend, and this is something that happened last night. Dennis is a good friend of mine, and that's not his real name, by the way. He's a good friend of mine. However, his behavior he was doing things outside of the principles of AA. Let's just say that. And because he's living outside of the principles, meaning he's not completely honest in every area of his life, some of his relationships are not, the intimacy, the shared safe place is not there. The lying, cheating, and stealing, the alcoholic behavior, that's still there. The alcoholic behavior is going to catch up with you eventually. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow. And my belief is that even though he's been sober for a little while, his alcoholic behavior caught up with him. It caught up with him. And it's just that gnawing feeling that you get when you lie, cheat, steal, when you create wreckage, when you're not an honest person. Eventually, you're not going to be able to stay clean and sober. And I know we had a meeting about a week ago, and he was at the meeting, and we talked about living the principles in all your affairs. And he didn't really, like, that didn't really resonate with him. It didn't really resonate with him. He was sober from drinking and drugs. However, he was not sober in other areas: gambling, sex, women, lying, cheating, stealing. Those are all alcoholic behaviors which eventually lead to the drink and the drug. And so my experience, I know I have to live an honest life. And by me living an honest life, I'm not restless, irritable, and discontent, and I'm able to stay clean and sober long term. So developing that positive support network, spending my time with people that have what I want, people, as Jim Rohn says, you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. I know for me, for this guy, I got to surround myself with people that are living the principles in all their affairs. Now, it's not to say that everybody I'm around lives the principles in all their affairs. However, what I can tell you is that I notice, I'm aware when people are not living the principles, and I'm like, okay, you know, I'm aware of that. I can see it. I can see it happening, and it's like, that's not what I want to be like. And so I tend to distance myself with people that are not living the life, or living, their behavior is not aligned with how I want my behavior to be. If my character isn't in line, if I'm not living according to my values, then eventually I'm going to drink, I'm going to drug, because I'm going to feel guilty and full of shame. So doing the next right thing, being an honest person, making amends when I need to make amends, not an apology. An apology and an amends are different. They're completely different. An apology is a Band-Aid and it's an empty promise. An amends is a hard conversation, which I'm going to talk about that in a different video. So here's a quick review about the insights you and I both rediscovered in this video. Developing a positive support network is key to avoiding a relapse. I went over why it is so important, and I shared my experience with how I developed my positive support network. Based upon everything you've heard in this episode, you can figure out how it works for you. And remember, these insights will only work for you if you work them. So please make sure you apply what you've learned in this episode of I Love Being Sober. Because if you do, you'll be on your way to living a kick-ass sober life. I think you'll agree that's exciting to think about. And remember, these insights will only work for you if you work them. So please make sure you apply what you learned in this episode of I Love Being Sober, because if you do, you will be on your way to living a kick-ass sober life. I think you'll agree that's exciting to think about. Before we end this episode, I want you to type in your biggest takeaway or aha moment you experienced during this episode. So go ahead, declare your one big takeaway in the comment section. It will take just 60 seconds out of your day, but what you declare could provide you a lifetime of happiness and freedom. Okay, that does it for this video. I'm Tim Westbrook, and I hope that our paths cross again in the next video. And do whatever it takes to join me for the next video in this series, because I'm going to talk about secret number 4, staying in therapy and continuing with your recommended treatment plan. I encourage you to invite a friend, loved one, or a sponsee to subscribe to this channel. I can't wait to connect with you then. It will be an insightful video, so I really want you to join us with your loved one.
If you found this video to be of value, be sure to like it, subscribe to our channel if you want to see more videos, leave a comment if you have a question, if you've got something to say. Camelback Recovery provides treatment services for people struggling with mental health, mental illness, addiction, alcoholism. So if you or someone you know is struggling, be sure to reach out to us. You can go to our website, CamelbackRecovery.com, or our information is in the comment section below. And we provide everything from detox, inpatient, outpatient treatment, sober living, recovery coaching, sober companion services. So either we'll be able to help you, or we'll be able to refer you to people or treatment centers that might be a better fit. So I will see you in the next video.